The legend of the Krampus was known throughout the land, and every year on Christmas Eve, children would cower in fear at the thought of encountering the terrifying monster. They would behave themselves as best they could, hoping to avoid the wrath of the Krampus, who was said to roam the streets, searching for naughty children to punish. One year, a young boy named Timmy had been especially naughty. He had been disobeying his parents, getting into fights with his siblings, and generally causing trouble wherever he went. His parents had warned him repeatedly to behave, but Timmy just couldn't seem to control himself. On Christmas Eve, as he was settling into bed, he heard a loud knocking at his window. He looked outside and saw the Krampus standing there, a wicked grin on his face and a large basket slung over his shoulder. Timmy was terrified, and he tried to hide under the covers, hoping that the Krampus would go away. But the monster just laughed and broke the window, climbing inside and grabbing Timmy by the arm. The boy screamed and kicked, trying to break free, but the Krampus was too strong. As the Krampus dragged him out of the house and into the cold night, Timmy knew that he was in big trouble. The monster took him to his lair in the mountains, where he locked Timmy in a cage and left him to rot. For days, Timmy sat in the darkness, cold and hungry, wondering if he would ever see his family again. But as the days turned into weeks, he began to realize that the Krampus had a soft spot for him. The monster would bring him food and water, and even let him out of the cage to play sometimes. Slowly but surely, Timmy began to see that the Krampus wasn't such a bad guy after all. He still punished Timmy when he misbehaved, but he also showed him kindness and taught him how to be a good boy. Timmy started to understand that the Krampus was only trying to help him, and he began to appreciate the lessons he was learning. As Christmas approached once again, the Krampus released Timmy from his cage and gave him a gift, a small wooden toy that he had carved himself. Timmy was touched by the gift and realized that the Krampus had become like a father to him. He promised to be a good boy from then on, and the Krampus smiled and nodded, satisfied that he had finally turned Timmy around. From that day on, Timmy was a changed boy. He was kind and well-behaved, and he never forgot the lessons he had learned from the Krampus. And as for the monster, he continued to roam the streets on Christmas Eve, punishing naughty children and helping to guide the good ones on the right path. As the years went by, Timmy grew into a fine young man, and he never forgot the Krampus and the role the monster had played in his life. He would often tell the story of his encounter with the Krampus to his own children, hoping to impart upon them the same lessons that he had learned. And the legend of the Krampus lived on, spreading joy and fear throughout the land on Christmas Eve.